Conor McGregor is on a downward spiral. He is losing sponsorships and it is going downhill for him. However, we're going to talk about what's going on, why it's happening, which sponsors he lost, most importantly, because my goodness, did he lose some big ones. But before we get into it, guys, if you guys just take a 2-second break and hit that sub button for me, it would help out the channel, helps me out a ton. I'll do it for you if you needed me to. I got you all day. That being said, let's get into it. So what happened? What's going on with Conor? So I've been wanting to take a step back and wait a few days, let the dust settle after the civil court hearing in which he was found liable for sexual assault. And again, I'm trying to get this right because I've seen a lot of people misreport this and them saying that he was found guilty. He was not found guilty, and it was not a criminal case. It was a civil case, and he was found liable. Now, the woman that is alleging that he raped her, she tried to take it to criminal court. However, it couldn't go further because for a criminal court, you have to have a lot of evidence to prove anything. And it was thrown out because she didn't have that evidence, right? So it was thrown out of a criminal court. Then it went to a civil court. And even then, out of the two men of which this was going on, one of them was not found liable, and then Conor was found liable, right? So what does that mean exactly? I'm not a legal expert, so I don't want to go into legalities and say something that of which I may be incorrect. However, we can talk about the facts, right? So facts are the woman named Nikita Han. She reached out to Conor on Instagram. They spoke for a few days. They exchanged pictures. She was sending him raunchy pictures, right? They both admitted this under oath in court. And then they went to meet up. They met up at 6 a.m. The meetup included them going to a hotel room, during which Conor then cheated on his long-term partner, his wife, Dee Devon, who's been along with him, this entire ride. He cheated on her. So right off the bat, I think we can all agree that, Conor wasn't up to great things. He wasn't doing something that was, by any means a good thing or anything like that. And you know what? This would probably be a good moment for us to talk about some of the Conor's past, right? So, did he throw a dolly at a bus and cause injuries to UFC fighters during the whole thing with Habib? Of course. Did he go to a bar and punch an old man while intoxicated? Yes, that happened too. He was accused of other stuff that he was found not guilty of, or some stuff didn't even go to court because they were just accusations. They remain as that. However, I mentioned this because I think it's important for us to just realize that the picture that's being painted of Conor, a lot of us depict Conor as not a good guy, right? And I don't blame you for it. I don't blame you for it at all. I'm not saying that, he shouldn't be depicted like that. I mean, obviously, he's done these things that have led us to think about him in that way. But now that I've said that, let's go back to this. So he cheated on his wife, excuse me, and he hooked up with Nikita, right? He then is going about the hotel, right? And there's footage of this. He spent some time with Nikita after the fact, after the supposed rape. And there's CCTV footage at this hotel of him and Nikita hours later, 2.5 hours later, and she's holding on to him for dear life. She's texting with her boyfriend. She's holding on to him real tightly on an elevator. They're going up and down. She's kissing on him up and down. So then Conor leaves. He goes home. He goes on to go about his day. His buddy that was there with him gets in a cab ride with Nikita. They go out drinking. They spend the entire day drinking. They come back to the hotel. He then hooks up with her. So this is the second man that she hooks up with during this time. And there's people are saying that they were doing drugs and all this during this time. Who knows? We can't verify that. But I mean, just imagine they were day drinking, having a great time. She had just hooked up with Conor. We know Conor was on a binger. We know he was doing that stuff in 2018. So you can imagine what she was doing. Then she goes and she hooks up with Conor's friend later on that day. Then they go down to the hotel bar, drink it up some more, hang out some more. She's seen kissing on him, hanging out with him, doing all this stuff. And then after that, she comes back, hangs out at the hotel for another, amount of minutes, and then she leaves, right? So anyways, this is a whole just of that like 30-hour period, right? So that's the entirety of what's going on. So when she is in court, right, she says that she doesn't remember kissing on Conor. She doesn't remember everything that was caught on camera. She doesn't remember. She only remembers the stuff that was not caught on camera, things that were done in private. That's the only thing she remembers. She doesn't remember anything that was on film, right? So then they're going through all this. So the panel of people that is judging on McGregor, or the jury, right? The jury turned out to be 8 women, 4 men, or something, along those lines. It's a vast majority of women, and they find Conor liable, right? So this whole thing blows up, and there's a few people that were there, that witnesses. All the witnesses, including one of Nikita Hand's friends, say that none of this happened. In my opinion, and I want to say this because I heard it originally from Jesse on Fire. I'll link his video down below. But he seems to think that it's more likely that, she was missing for these 30 hours. She finally goes home after, the end of this binger. She goes home to her boyfriend, whom at the time was taking care of their child. And she goes home from this binger, and, he probably goes through her phone, or she probably admits to whatever happened. He beats her up. And then that's where these bumps and bruises come from. Because on the CCTV footage of her and Conor and her and Conor's friend after the supposed rape, there was no bumps and bruises on her. There was no signs of any damage. I mean, after the supposed rape, she hung out for a whole like 16 or 17 hours after that occurred. Supposedly, right? So it's a little fishy situation. But all right, so I mentioned all that to get to this. Today, Proper 12, of which he doesn't own Proper 12 anymore. He's just a spokesperson. Proper 12 announced that they will no longer be using Conor McGregor as a spokesperson for Proper 12. So that's a freaking huge hit, right? A lot of MMA fans, myself included, have only purchased Proper 12 because of Conor McGregor. Same thing for Tidal. Same thing for all these things that are Conor McGregor products, right? And not just that, like Chael and Cowboy had movies that came out last year. I supported them. Anything that's been MMA related. When Ronda came out in the Fast and Furious, supported her. The whole thing, right? You want to support people that are in your realm, right? So I do my part in trying to support MMA fighters, UFC fighters, the whole nine, right? But I think that we're what do they say? You're missing the trees for the forest, or you're missing the forest for the trees. I think that's kind of what's going on here. I think that we're jumping the gun a little quickly. The video game Hitman they had a DLC where you're supposed to be the Hitman and kill Conor McGregor, or a character that looks and has similarities to Conor McGregor. That was freaking taken off today too. There was a bunch of Irish grocery stores said they would no longer carry Proper 12. So Proper 12 was trying to do damage control after the fact, whenever they said they'd be pulled off the shelves. And I don't necessarily think that that's a good move, at least not yet. Conor McGregor did say that him and his team are going to appeal the decision. It seems a little strange that he was found liable, but his friend wasn't. And there's a lot of stuff that is just fishy. There's records and phone records and text messages that were exchanged between Nikita and her friend that was also there, of Nikita asking her friend to delete their conversations that occurred that day. So I'm just saying there's and again, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not anything like that. So take this with a grain of salt. But in my opinion, I don't think that that's the way things played out, where he should be held liable, right? So again, did he do all this stuff where he threw Dolly at the bus? Did he punch an old man? Has he been on coke bingers and has he been on bingers when he was, just drinking, stuff like that? Like, he might not be a morally outstanding person. He might not be somebody you want your children to look up to. He might not even be a great, citizen of Ireland or anything like that, right? However, in this very instance with what's going on, if there wasn't enough evidence for it to go to a criminal court and it was thrown out, how is it that there's enough evidence on a civil court to find him liable, right? So I don't want to say that it's a cash grab on her behalf either. All I'm saying is that it seems kind of strange. Him losing these sponsorships and the timing of all this stuff just seems a little bit out of whack, right? So he had said that he did want to run for president of Ireland, and then this whole thing started, right? So the timing on it's a little weird. I don't know. There's a lot. What do you guys think? Tell me down below in the comments. What do you guys think? Because there's a lot to unpack here. I'm kind of just waiting for more information to drop and stuff like that. So we know that he's going to appeal it. We know there's going to be more information on it. So until then, I will bring you guys the latest and freshest. That being said, you made it this far. Don't forget to hit a like, hit a sub on this video. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.